G'day guys, Mac here at the Outer Circle, and today let's have a good old-fashioned bitch and whinge fest. Feel free to hit that dislike button now, get in ahead of everyone else, because you know we don't want to be mean to Games Workshop. You know, these guys, they don't do anything wrong. They're the perfect company, and really we should just be thankful that we get models at all. No, fuck that. Why the hell are they releasing a new miniature as part of a stupid box game that nobody asked for? This isn't Shadespire, this isn't a unique game with completely individual sculpts. It isn't a new thing, this is a repackaging of existing shit that nobody wants. Nobody wants Necron Warriors. Nobody cares about Skitarii. Nobody wants, a plastic Necron dude who's holding a hand up in the air jumping on scarabs like Mario. Nobody gives a shit. But what they do give a shit about is the Armiger Warglaive. This new Micro Knight, Mini Knight, I shall call him Mini-Me, whatever you want to call this thing. This thing is the selling point of this box set. That's the entire reason this game exists. Why the fuck is it in a box set and not an individual kit? No? No one? Well, actually, probably someone. But, okay, here's my thought process. Games Workshop is releasing it in this kit because they want to sell lots and lots and lots of copies of this kit. Fine, fair enough. They're a private company. You deserve to make all the money in the world, no repercussions, no ethics, no nothing. 3 months' time, you'll be able to buy this model on its own. They're just doing it in a kit for now to force you to buy the kit. That's the entire reason they're doing it. Why? Because they've got a big backlog of Necrons that nobody wants that they want to get rid of. They're like, oh fuck, Necron Warriors don't sell anymore. What's the next box kit going to be? Anyone want to take a guess? I'm thinking it'll probably have Tau Fire Warriors in it. Because they're not very fucking popular. And with the Tau re-release around the corner, that would tie in really nicely, wouldn't it? Yeah. They've done it with Belisarius Call, the Triumvirate of the Primarch, the Triumvirate of the Imperium. You know, Cypher you can buy individually, Guilliman you can buy individually. But remember, for months and months they were only available in box sets that came with all these different models. And for some reason, when they're in a box set, these box sets are really cheap. And a lot of people right now go, that's right, Macca, they are really cheap, you bastard. What are you picking on Perfect Games Workshop for? They're cheap, they're doing a good deal for you, you should be happy. No, they're not doing a good deal for me. They're still making ridiculous amounts of money out of these box sets. If they can afford to sell them that cheap and yet put the effort of getting someone to write a rule system, getting someone to design the artwork for them, getting someone to print out all these tiles for them, packaging them all, shipping them around the world, going out of their way to promote it, sell it, and then they're going to go out and they're going to make individual boxes for some of the individual units like the Armiger Warglaive later on down the track, that tells me that they're actually making a ludicrous fucking amount of money off these boxes still. They're just not making as ludicrous amount of money as they would on other miniatures. So, yeah, call me cynical, but my bullshit radar is just going off the charts right now with the whole, oh, jeez, you know, they sell these Kelth sets and, you know, Forgebane as cheap as they possibly can, you know, like they're really looking after you. No, they're not looking after me, they're lining their own fucking pockets. Come on, guys. They're a private company, yes. They can do whatever they want. They can charge whatever they fucking want. But don't just accept it. Look how many people are sitting there on Facebook in the comments of things like Warhammer 40,000's Facebook page going, thank you so much for this Games Workshop. What are you thanking them for? What have they done for you? They released a miniature, an overpriced miniature, in an overpriced box game that forces you to buy the box game if you want that miniature, unless you're going to go and pay extra money on eBay or something. You know, because, let's face it, that's the thing people want. It's going to be expensive as fuck. And it's going to be, people are going to buy the Forgebane box just to part out that miniature. You fucking watch. You know, like, no one's buying Forgebane because they're like, fuck, I'm going to make a killing selling Necron Warriors secondhand. No, people are going to be selling that Knight. And people are like, oh yeah, nah, thanks Games Workshop, you really looked after me on this one. No, they haven't. No, they haven't. They've manipulated people. Strongly manipulated people. Now, what are the rules and stats going to be like for this unit? Well, we know they're not getting Chaos rules. I've included a little clip here from Games Workshop where they say, we've seen a common theme with your questions here, folks. Namely, will these brand new Imperial Knight Armiger Warglaives fall to the forces of Chaos, have different weapon options, or be seen on the battlefields of the Age of Darkness? We've not heard of any plans for any of those courses of action at the moment, though if we do hear anything, we'll be sharing it right here on Facebook. Games Workshop, I'm going to share with you a little fucking advice. People like chaos. How fucking hard is it at this point if you constantly get asked with every Imperial release, are we going to see a Chaos version of this Imperial release? Maybe you should just think to yourselves preemptively, maybe we should make a fucking Chaos version of this. Like, really, is it that fucking hard? Is it that fucking hard? You did the same thing with Knights, and even then, you could not be fucked giving Chaos players Chaos Knights. We know they're there, we know they're in the fluff. But it took Forge World to even half-ass a fucking kit for that. And it's alright, the Chaos Knight kit's okay. But, you know, what was Games Workshop's version of Chaos Knight? Oh yeah, well here's a Chaos vehicle upgrade sprue, has some like spiky shit on it. Yeah, you can just kind of like, you know, glue like a Chaos Star here or there and give it a Black Legion paint job. Yeah, they'll make it look evil. Just paint it black. Yeah, that's it. Like, that's your solution. That's your fucking solution. You can't be bothered, side by side, put two leaflets in there. Chaos rules, Loyalist rules, in the same fucking box. You can't be bothered to do that. How fucking hard at this point? You want to put no effort into factions that aren't Imperials. We get this. We really get this. The players have got this for a long time. Why do you think your threads are full of people saying, oh, when are we getting a new Eldar release? When are we getting a Dark Eldar release? What about my Orcs? Can I loot this? Can I loot that? Fucking Orcs players want to loot everything, don't yous? I love Orc players. You know, Chaos players. Hey, are we getting a Chaos version of this? Games Workshop. I don't know, maybe. Like, no offense to the community team, you're doing your job, but come on. Like, you should be marketing the fuck out of this. You should be right on it, going, hey, here's this really cool, neat new unit, and guess what? It's not just Loyalists who are getting this, it's not just the Imperial forces that are getting one. Chaos players, you can get one too. You're doubling your market then. Isn't that more ethical business to say that, hey, here's one for both sides of the fence, here's one for the good guys, here's one for the bad guys? No, instead it's just better to go for these shady tactics of saying to people, no, if you want one, you've got to go buy Forge Bane. Buy all those fucking Necron warriors, you can't. Like, come on, seriously, this is the best you could do, Games Workshop. This is the fucking best you can do. This is bullshit. You're not looking after your players here. And a lot of people are going to hate on this video, but they need to be called out on this. I'm not going to mince my words. I don't have to say nice things to them. They have in their hands here the perfect opportunity to create a new unit that multiple factions can use. And I'll get people like have already commented on our Facebook page like, oh well, you know, if you're playing narrative play, you can just run one anyway. You just won't be able to use one in matched play. Well, in narrative play, I can run a fucking pixie on the table for all it fucking matters. People who want these things, want them for their Chaos armies, want to be able to use them with full functionality at all times. That's the key there, at all times. They want to be able to say, I have a Chaos Knight, I have a Chaos Armiger Warglaive, I want to use it in my Chaos Space Marine army at this event I'm heading to. That's what people want. People can homebrew anything when it comes to narrative play, you know, and I don't want people to fucking write that as an excuse in the comments. Oh well, Macca, you know, if you got a problem with it, just play your own games at home with it. Like, no, I shouldn't have to. This is basic shit. They should have this down pat by now. Should have been a fucking picture of this model that went up in a side-by-side with a Chaos version of it. And they should have been like, you not only are you getting the Armiger Warglaive, you're getting the Chaos Armiger Warglaive. That is good marketing. That is looking after your players, doing things right. At this point, after this much time, after what, 40 years of being in business, Games Workshop, I shouldn't have to be pointing these things out to you. I'm just some asshole on the internet, right? You guys have marketing people you pay good money to come up with this shit, and you couldn't think to yourselves, let's create a Chaos data card to put in it. Or if you have, you've done a piss poor job of marketing because your own people don't even know that it exists. They're like, oh, we've not heard any plans of this. fuck, we don't even know what this thing is. You know, like, come on, how hard? An interesting thing I want to note, scale-wise, this thing's tiny bit bigger than Contemptor, so it's about the same size as a Redemptor Dreadnought or a Leviathan, Domitar, any of these sort of units. What kind of rules are we going to get? Are we going to get something that's about the same power as a Contemptor, which in all likelihood it should be? So I mean, if this thing is significantly more powerful than a Contemptor, you start creating war problems, fluff problems, because then people will ask, well, if it's the same size as a Contemptor and it's so much better, then why even have Dreadnoughts? Why not just make a lot of these? And then, of course, that's followed up by the fanboy who goes, oh, well, actually, they use the amazing resource called Fanboyidium. It's a very rare element, only forms in the rings of Uranus, and yeah, because that element is so rare, they can only make so many of these Armiger Warglaives. So, yeah, you know, that's the reason why. Because that's the fucking people that exist in this community. You want to apologise for everything. You want to say that, oh no, Games Workshop did good by me. Yeah, they looked after me on this one. And you, instead of calling them and holding them to account like other people and other franchises do, like when Star Wars got shit on, the fans shit right back. When Star Trek got shit on, the fans shit right back. And they're like, this doesn't hold true to this character, this doesn't hold true to this fluff, blah blah blah. People don't want to do that with this hobby for some reason. They're like, oh no, Games Workshop created the game, they can do no wrong. It's not like, you know, here's the thing you gotta remember. Things like Star Trek had a single guiding entity, like in Gene Roddenberry, and possibly Rick Berman as well. These, you know, producers and that oversee it all and try to hold it true to a vision the whole way along. With mixed results, admittedly. Games Workshop doesn't have that. They don't have a visionary in charge of like all the lore and continuity with the big picture of where the story goes. They have a group of people who just make it up on a day-by-day basis, and they're just like, well, fuck it, good enough. And they don't understand what this lore means to people. So you've now got a unit that is going to struggle in the lore, unless this thing's got really, really basic rules. Like, you know, it's basically a Dreadnought in power, or, you know, it should be a Dreadnought. It is a vehicle, it's not a monstrous creature. So this thing needs to basically be a Dreadnought. If it doesn't have rules like that, if this thing has like miniature knight rules, like it's not super heavy, but it may as well be, you know, then you're going to have problems. Because people are going to ask those questions. Hey, why does this thing fucking exist? Why do Dreadnoughts exist when this thing does? This is clearly so much better. You know, why don't we put Marines in these to be even tougher? You know, all these questions will start getting asked. And because you don't have that guiding light, like, this is the problem that happens with the novels. People like to say, oh, those Black Library novels, you know, the writers are so good, they know so much about this subject. No, many of them don't. Many of them contradict each other all the time. Some are really bad, like C.S. Goto, who said that Eldar commandeer Imperial tanks because they're tougher than Eldar ones, and that Space Marines fire multi-lasers or some other shit like that. These are the sort of people that work for Games Workshop. Do not think to yourself ever, do not make the mistake of thinking that there is someone like Alan Bly constantly pulling the strings. A man like that, a visionary who's able to make really good things happen in this hobby, they are so rare. This company does not reward that kind of personality. This company is all about marketing and this kind of bullshit where they go, oh yeah, here's your Imperial only unit shoved in with a bunch of other shit you don't want, and you have to buy it as a board game unless you want to wait 5 months for the individual release of this miniature. And there's no plans to allow it to be used by other factions. That's what it breaks down to, guys. Does it make me an asshole to say? Yeah, probably. But run that through your head again. A brand new miniature, only available in a box set, that could easily be released on its own, but it's only going to be available in the box set for a couple of months. And then, even then, only some factions, Imperial ones, will be able to use it. How do you feel about that? Are you comfortable with that? If you are, then there is nothing I can do or say to change your mind, and I am totally fine with that. That's not my fucking problem to live with. But, as fans, you need to, you know, raise some fucking noise. Get up Games Workshop for this. Don't just sit on it. Actually go out there and say, why the fuck are you doing this? Why aren't you doing this approach? Why aren't you doing that? When are we going to see this thing released individually? You know, Throw some shade up them. Don't just let them get away with this. Don't just reward them. What, do you think that because you throw more money at them, they're going to do what you want? No, they're going to continue the same business practices they've got because it works. I'm not saying they haven't made great strides since Kevin Roundtree took over from fucking idiot Tom Kirby, but come on. Come on, guys. Like, you're like beaten housewives. You keep going back for more. Games Workshop gives you a few fucking slugs because, you know, you didn't fucking dry the can opener properly. You know, it's gonna fucking rust. And you're just there going like, oh, Games Workshop, I'm just so thankful you're not, like, you know, punching me harder. Come the fuck on, guys. And for reference, I threw a little picture down in the corner there of a Contemptor and a Marine to scale with the Marine silhouette, and you know, so you can kind of see how big this thing is. I could be wrong, that could be a Primaris Marine on the base there, in which case, well, the Dreadnought's a little bit smaller in scale again, but still pretty close to, pretty confident saying that Leviathan, Deredeo, Redemptor are going to be about the same size as that, maybe Domitar as well. Yeah, is what it is, guys. Anyway, this is the Outer Circle with a classic Outer Circle bitch and whinge and moan fest. Yeah, just click dislike. I don't care really. Counts as a like anyway for fucking YouTube's algorithms. So whatever. See you all next time.